What is up, you muffin munching muggles? Welcome to Fiction and Reality. Today we're going back to the basics of bending. Just bending, and in particular analyzing the story of Avatar Aang, the Last Airbender, the movie. A story centered around Aang's peacekeeping journey after the defeat of Emperor Ozai. The Avatar Aang movie illustrates beautifully how the fear of losing oneself and identity can prevent them from living meaningfully in the present, and how blindly chasing an idealistic future can blind you to the things you have to appreciate most in the present. The war between what is and what can be is highlighted through Aang's fear of losing his wilting airbending culture, which was not helped much by the minorities. I mean, the denied, who reject that such a world where equal wealth, dominance, and power is even possible without acquiring bending. Of course, also his duty to peacekeep the world where all nations can live together in harmony, and through Avatar Sonem's long-lost protege, his influence, the frame-by-frame mogger Tagah, who strayed from Sonem's path after having seen his brothers fall one by one, casting the peaceful teachings of the air nomads away and resting on the principles that such a nation consisting of various benders could never exist peacefully, also contributed to this. It's been quite a long time since we last saw him, but in Avatar the Last Airbender, the movie, we see Aang is back not only with a fresh cut, the Caillou Zero Razor buzz chop, but also some fresh drip as well. The core of this movie is bound together by Aang's fear, and not just any ordinary fear, but the fear of being the last airbender. We've seen him struggle throughout the series, wondering if a course correction of his actions from the past would have prevented the 100 Years' War from occurring. But now that Team Avatar has triumphed, the battle rages internally as he seeks to discover how he is supposed to preserve the airbender's teachings and culture when he's the last one walking amongst all four nations. The deep connection Aang has with his past is portrayed in one of the earliest scenes of the film, where he visits the Southern Air Temple to return airbender relics he's found, some of which are thousands of years old, and of course to reminisce about some of the old trinkets of his old master, Monkey Yatsu. Did I say that right? Monkey Yatsu? Monk Gyatso. New core memory unlocked. Though Aang displays a strong degree of selfishness when it came to possibly losing the second chance at restoring the Air Nation, one might find it easy to sympathize with him when you have a whole group of non-benders, the denied, running a lick on his temple, destroying ancient artifacts while attempting to take his life, and then victimizing themselves after setting the entire building on fire. Even through this, Aang adhered to his duty as the Avatar, even going so far as to save one of the denied from the mess they made themselves. It's a deep love Avatar Aang has for both his fallen people and their culture, because the artifacts, the ruins, are all he has left of them. The airbenders were his family. When he's eventually presented with the possibility and the dream of restoring his nation, it consumed him to the point of becoming blind to his present. Aang went so far as to go into the Avatar state to save the temple. Oh, and the denied who happened to be in the way. Desperation and the burden of losing a vital element of the things that shape one's identity can drive someone to steer away from sound logic and push forward blindly with raw passion. After Katara is healing Aang after the fight, for example, the audience discovers his mind in his final moments is not about losing Katara or losing the peace of Republic City or anyone being in danger. Aang says, all I could think about was, this is it. I'm the last airbender. If I die, my culture dies with me. I'm curious, what do you think of this? Why do you think the fear of losing the airbender culture and the burden of being the last to preserve it blinded Aang from seeing and valuing what he had in the present within this movie? Opposed to some people, I generally think the Avatar the Last Airbender movie was pretty good, especially at fleshing out what the burden of being the last airbender, not just the Avatar, felt like for Aang. We talked about the burden of being the last airbender and how it drove forward his desperation throughout the movie. After Aang got jumped by the minorities, the denied, he entered the spirit world where he talked with a plethora of avatars in search of finding knowledge about Avatar Sonem, the avatar the denied appeared to be after. A lot of Aang's initial pursuit of Sonem's staff appeared to be rooted in good faith, actually, and preventing the denied from turning it against Republic City. But part of me wonders if him feeling the duty to protect his culture took precedent over everything else. He wasn't thinking about Republic City when he got attacked at the Air Temple, remember, but he was thinking about the entire airbending culture vanishing with him if he was erased. This journey led him to Mount Bayou, where he discovered another ice bro, the Chad-like Tagah, sleeping. And after evading this vicious rock slide, they settled down in camp where he gives this sort of reveal about the true purpose of Avatar Sonem's staff. The moment Aang discovers the true purpose of Avatar Sonem's staff is one of the most vital points in the movie. Aang was already sort of riled up about retrieving the part of the Airbender's history himself that he thought was about to be stolen, which he failed to realize was only a part of who he was and not the entirety of his being. Paired with this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to bring back a nation of airbenders in a world where he is the last thread, the endless possibilities, the dreamer's rage, all of it flooded in at once to the point he was overcome, absolutely overcome and breathless. Once again, the movie illustrates how one can lose oneself while chasing an ideal future by neglecting the present while in pursuit of this ideal image. The staff made Aang forget the principles of what it meant to be an airbender. More specifically, I mean the philosophy which, during his time surrounding Tagah, centered around the raw power of airbending itself. In this process, he forgets the duty of what it meant to be the Avatar. A new hope brings forward visions of a grander life, but without the ability to see the dreams and reality alike, someone can wreak mounds of havoc in their wake while in pursuit. I have other thoughts about this. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Did Aang perhaps deserve to be a little selfish here? I mean, of course, this is like doing a line of Smarties compared to the cocaine trip he went on, driving his friends through that storm, but we'll get there later in the video. Hey, we wanted to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, Dubby Energy, for sponsoring this video. If you're tired of getting mogged in your game because you're feeling a little sleepy, oh, feeling a little sleepy, you pussy. Well, wake up! Dubby specializes in focus energy drinks that shock you awake, and unlike other gamer juice, is free from fillers, artificial colors, dyes, and other ingredients that make you crash. They've got a huge catalog of exquisite flavors to choose from, and if you're an anime fan, they've even got official license collabs with some of your favorite heavy hitters. And if you're more heavy on the collector side of things, well, Dubby's got you with a huge catalog of collector cups with your favorite characters on them. So what's the holdup? Get your hot waifu anime cup, wake the hell up, and check them out at dubby.gg, linked in the description below, and use promo code FICTION for 10% off your order and let them know who sent you. I want to shift the focus on how Tagah's presence sort of supercharged Aang's worst insecurities about failing his people twice. I think we all kind of gave Tagah Aang status at some point in Avatar Aang the Last Airbender movie. I mean, waking up and punching rocks and shit, going from zero to hero, dropping some real wisdom ducats, you know? Really giving us the spiritual awakening. Now, I know, don't get me wrong, things got a little bit racist when he woke up with Toph, but that happens sometimes. Hey, it may get a little bit racist if you don't hit that like button and subscribe. I don't know. If you're enjoying the video, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell. Pushes these videos out so others can find them. They take a lot of work, so let me know that you're loving it. Anyway, Aang's infatuation with securing a second chance for his people gives way to desperation in the most selfish form of it, a part of Aang that remains behind the shield of the Avatar persona he projects in public. Aang has buried his longing for the past, and when a relic from the ancient kingdom, Tagah, bringing teachings from the golden era of airbending returns, it's almost as if he casts his present obligations to his friends and the people of Republic City to the wayside, impulsively. As we know, traditions, teachings, your culture all encompass a part of who you are. Tagah and Aang differ greatly in terms of which parts of the airbending philosophy they chose to hold on to. It's the desperation to restore any semblance of the nation, paired with the naivety that pushes Aang to think he can convince Tagah that all nations could live in harmony with each other, whereas Tagah believes people are bound by the nature of their element, such as when he asked how Aang could suffer the presence of Zuko, knowing the Fire Nation wiped out the air nomads. I know we all gave Tagah Aang status, but if I'm being honest, the signs were there. And if that wasn't enough, when the minorities, I mean the denied, rolled up on Team Avatar's boat, he was about to crush the ship with raw airbending before Avatar Aang had to hop in and tell him to chill the hell out. Just with Tagah being an airbender by itself influenced Aang to devote mounds of trust that weren't necessarily earned, simply by the fact of finding someone else in the world that was like him, at least on the surface. It's this fear of losing the second chance at reviving this culture by not risking it that led Aang to push through the immortal storm with Tagah, endangering all his friends' lives, pushing them through this storm. The fact is, Aang put his loved ones in danger for the dream of having a chance to restore airbending to the world and to preserve his culture, risking the present and the lives of the ones who put their lives on the line for him without even gathering their input for something that was not guaranteed to even exist on the island. which of course deservingly Team Avatar blasted Aang for. Let me know your thoughts. Was Aang wrong to risk his friends' lives without their consent for a chance to restore his culture, even if the odds were a long shot? Where's the line between honoring who you are and endangering who's around you? Hey, just a quick message. I just launched my Patreon. If you want to support the channel and my creative endeavors so that I can invest back into you, head over to Fiction and Reality on Patreon, linked down below. Depending on the tier, you'll get early viewing privileges to videos before they're uploaded on YouTube, plus the full scripts and essays behind them, exclusive video essays, your name in the credits, and exclusive Discord access when it launches. In some instances, all for the low price of $4. So what are you muggles waiting for? Sign up using the Patreon link in the description below. Tagah definitely lost his Aang status with this one, boys. Aang's duty as the Avatar becomes a blurred line with sparing the remnants of the Air Nation, an internal clash we rarely, if ever, got to see in the original series, at least not with this degree of focus. It's a part of Aang that chisels at him, and the possibility of losing the second chance for a revival of his people influences reckless acts he'd never have taken otherwise. Impulsive decisions that risk the lives of his friends and everything he's worked towards in the present. Tagah let his past consume him, so much so that he himself risked the second chance at reviving the Air Nation, simply due to the fact he couldn't accept that nations could live in harmony after watching his own brothers get slaughtered by the rising Earth Kingdom in the golden age of airbending. Tagah betrays Aang's friends, to put it lightly, but if we want to keep it real, he slimed out Team Avatar, and his hands were given equal lefts and equal rights. Both Tagah and Aang shared the common goal of wanting to revive the Air Nation, but Tagah wanted to preserve its power in a way that would ensure it was never threatened again, whereas Aang wanted to restore it with balance, both driven by the failures of their past, and Tagah somehow believing that taking Team Avatar out would make Aang more agreeable, a plan which completely fell lopsided on its head. Though we know Tagah was also packing some air pellets for that boy Aang too. The curtain is pulled back and Aang realizes in an instant that the staff means absolutely nothing without his friends by his side to help him usher in the era. He chases the dream, wanting to make it a reality, when it flips on its head as opposed to the beginning of the movie. He's not thinking about whether or not the airbender culture is going to die with him, but whether or not he just blindly led his friends into a death trap and sacrificed them along with the peace he built alongside them, all for a failed chance at reviving the Air Nation and fulfilling his duty to preserve a vital part of his identity as the last airbender, a lot of which he confesses to Avatar Sonem. While there are some people who are harshly critiquing the movie, I think this at least was a pretty beautiful inversion of the story and a transformative moment for Aang's character. The moment Aang realizes that the staff means absolutely nothing if he can't use it with his friends along his side, is framed as a real turning point. Not the fear of losing the airbender culture, but the people he almost sacrificed for it. Do you think these scenes redeem Aang's earlier recklessness? Let me know your thoughts below. If there's nothing else that woke Aang up to the fact that he was risking losing the peace of Republic City that he sacrificed for in order to build the Air Nation, or have a chance at rebuilding the Air Nation, I think Tagah probably dropping the city of Jirana from the top row might have done the trick. As opposed to the beginning of the movie, driven by the fear of losing the remnants of the Air Nation's culture, Aang's priorities shift to protecting the peace he and his friends risked their lives for. That includes the peace of the Denied, who appeared only in passing and didn't seem to be fleshed out as thoroughly as they should have been, but we get it. Group of non-benders who believe all the authority and power is concentrated towards the benders. More importantly, bodies that Team Avatar could use as absolute punching bags. Throughout the movie, Aang's greatest conflict is choosing between a chance to rebuild the Air Nation that's standing right before him and focusing on protecting the peace in the present he's already sacrificed so much for. Part of Aang was so tethered to his past failure of running away and blaming himself for the Air Nation's downfall that he believed there was absolutely no way he could let this chance slip through his hands, and even risk sacrificing the present for it, forgetting to weigh what he achieved in the moment. The battle between Aang and Tagah was a fight between two souls unable to reconcile their failures of the past. Aang running away from his duty as Avatar, and Tagah his inclination for vengeance against other nations for slaughtering the air nomads. Both of them temporarily straying from the philosophical teachings of the air nomads and displacing them with the power-thirsting need for Sonem's staff, believing it to be the key to making up for the faults of their past. Though Aang was driven by this desperation and fear, which caused him to cast aside his teachings while in pursuit, When he realized the power was corrupting him, it was ultimately him recalling those teachings from Monk Gyatso, that gave him the resolve to do what was most painful and throw away the infinite possibilities and second chance at restoring the Air Nation by shattering the staff all to hell. One of the most integral parts of the Avatar Aang movie is that it highlights the sinking into the past failures and letting the fear and desperation drive your future will only further erode an individual. It's not simply just reflecting on your failures, but taking measurable action to understand why they happen and what elements can be focused on to push the present further into the future. The core of Aang's conflict was shouldering both the burden of being the Avatar while suppressing it, dealing with his fears of losing the air nomads culture if he were to fall again or vanish. If there's one standing message from this movie, it's that many things make up your identity, not solely one facet or element, and that blindly chasing an idealistic version of you while neglecting the reality, responsibilities, and the bonds that shaped your present can drive one further away from themselves than ever before. Let me know your thoughts on Avatar Aang the Last Airbender movie. I know there are hella critiques about it, but I think this movie really did a good job on opening the window into Aang's struggle and balancing what it meant to be the Avatar and what it means to just be himself and shoulder the burden of being the last chip to fall before his entire culture is wiped out. Don't forget to join our Discord link below. Great sense of community there. And maybe have some discussions about what you think about this. You can also follow my IG page at lvamps23 and other socials in the link below. If you want more analysis of your favorite fictional characters or fictional worlds, go ahead and smash that like button, turn on that notification bell, and subscribe for more. The direction of progress is forward, and it's only up from here. With that, remember, if ever you're lost in a forest, your words, strip your mind from fantasy and look to the window of the world, and there your mind will run free.